Hey everyone, it's Lish here, coming to you from the 412. Sorry I said that. Anyway, I just wanted to help everyone out who are reaching their weight loss or weight gain goals by giving a brief how-to tutorial when it comes to reading labels. Now, I am not at my home. I am at my good friend, naturalhairmaster.com owner, Arjuna's house. We did a video last week together. So now I'm in her home so that I can have a very unbiased opinion about the labels I'm reading. Because honestly, the first thing that you have to when you are eating anything is what's in it. Now, you can try to go gluten-free and non-GMO and organic, but that doesn't mean you're eating healthily. So I'm just going to break down and give you some very basic nutrition tips. Here we have some bread. Now we're going to go in and check out this label. There we go. So Arjuna has the split top wheat bread. It says, and it's boasting on the back, 0 grams trans fat per serving. Well, it's bread, so I don't know why bread would have trans fat, but they're using that as a marketing tool. No artificial flavors and no high fructose corn syrup. So let's see if the back matches the front. When you want to read a label, you're going to go straight to those nutrition facts. You start at the tippity top and begin to read. So this is 23 servings per container, and a serving size is 1 slice of bread. Now listen to that again. Not 2 slices of bread for a sandwich, 1 slice of bread. That's interesting. Or 25 grams. Amount per serving is 60. So if you wanted to calculate how many calories you can get from a whole loaf of bread, you would multiply the calories base per serving by the total servings in the container, which is 23. So 23 times 60, and then you know how many calories that would give you. The reason why calories are first is because calories are the most important. Calories don't mean anything more than units of heat energy. So if you are eating and you are on a fixed calorie diet, counting calories is your first step in making sure you're getting adequate nutrition. A lot of people undereat. So me, I like to have bread that's at least 100 calories because my daily goal as far as calorie intake is 2,500 or 2,500 calories a day. Otherwise, I won't gain or maintain my weight because I have a high metabolism. If you're trying to lose weight, most doctors recommend 1,700 calories. And it's still hard to get to 1,700 calories if you're not careful in counting them. Next, we'll go down and we'll look at total fat. Now, this is interesting. It has saturated fat and trans fat. Saturated fat, there's really no percentage. It's 1%, okay? But there is a percentage of fat, which is interesting, 0.5 grams. No trans fats like they were saying, but I don't know why there would be trans fats in here. Saturated fat just means that those are actual fat molecules in it. You can't get away from that. No cholesterol. Sodium is nice and low. You want your sodium levels to be under 400 milligrams, and this is only 105. So she's doing an excellent job with her bread here. Now, carbohydrates. One thing I'd like to mention, your brain runs on carbohydrates, okay? And your brain is also made out of fat. It's not a muscle. It's not a muscle like your heart. It's a conductor of lots of electrical activity. And in order for those electricity and nervous systems to function, it needs fuel, which it will only get from carbohydrates. So carbs are not the enemy, okay? You need more carbohydrates throughout the day than you need any other macronutrient. So yes, you can count your grams, and it tells you the percentage you get from 1 serving size, which is 4% of your daily carb intake. And then they break down the carbohydrates, whether they're dietary fiber or sugars. And it includes added sugars. So an added sugar would be high fructose corn syrup, wouldn't it? Just saying. But anyway, it has some regular dietary sugars in it. And then how much protein you get. And as we know, wheat provides protein. And then it does break down some vitamins. But really, the things you really need to know, especially if you're new to nutrition, is this number here, the calorie count. Let's move on to something. We have tofu, okay? Tofu, let's look at that. She's got firm tofu. Tofu is a great substitute for meat if you're eating plant-based. And we'll just get right in. Serving size per container, right here we're under nutrition facts, coming straight down. 3 ounces, or excuse me, the recommended serving size is 3 ounces or 85 grams, and servings per container are 4.5. 70 calories per serving. So these are some low-calorie options. You can tell which side of the spectrum Argina is on in her journey. They have fats listed. Now, tofu is made out of soy, so that means it's a bean product. There would be lots of natural fat in that soybean, as well as proteins, which you see there are 8 grams of proteins in it. And there are 2 grams of carbohydrates. Beans are mostly a protein and fat, like nuts. They're not a carbohydrate. We can get in and look at the different types of fats that are in here. There's saturated fat, trans fat, polysaturated, and monosaturated. Obviously, no trans fat is in here. Polysaturated and monosaturated are just layman's terms for the type of fatty acids that make up the tofu. So none of that is really important to you besides knowing, ding, 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 how many calories per serving you're getting. So if you were to build a meal, I recommend 400 calories per meal. If you were to build a meal, 1 serving size of this would only give you 70 calories, which means you have to eat some more. A lot of people think if I eat too little, that I'll lose weight. And it's true, but only to a certain extent. If your body feels like it's starving and you're not giving it adequate calories, it won't trust you, and it'll hold on to whatever weight you have. It'll slow your metabolism so slow. So it'll only digest just as much as it needs. You don't want that. Remember, when your serving size is this low, you have to build up onto it. Now, something that would be disgusting would be a tofu sandwich. Just kidding. I've had really fun seitan and what is it? What's the Argina's here? What's the burrito you like from Chipotle? The burrito I like? The tofu? I mean, what's it called? I don't really eat the burritos. I eat the bowls. Oh, well, same thing. What's the meat called? I don't know. I just asked for tofu, but I think it's called sofritas. Sofritas. So from Chipotle, yes, sofritas. So you can put tofu in, grain products. But if you were to put a serving size of this and a serving size of this together, you'd have 130 calories, which means you'd still have to eat more to make up that 400 calorie meal. I know this now because I've counted. Let's look at something a little different. We'll look at a condiment. Okay, so honey. You will find this pleasantly surprising. Honey is one of the purest carbohydrates you can possibly find out there. So we'll get right into it. Nutrition facts start at the top, coming down. So a serving size is 1 tablespoon, and amount per servings in the container are 32. How many calories do you get from 1 tablespoon of honey? 60 calories. So 60 calories in 1 tablespoon of honey. That's the same as 1 piece of bread. So be careful of your liquid calories out there. If you drink a lot of tea and you like putting honey in it, your tea is no longer calorie free because you have added at least 60 calories to it. Look at the nutrition facts. Of course, there's no fat, there's no sodium, but total carbohydrates are 17 grams or 6% of your daily intake in 1 tablespoon of honey. And of course, there's no protein. Honey is a very pure carbohydrate, and that'll burn up nicely for you. Honey is a great thing to have because it's a nice natural sweetener. But you do have to be careful because it's dense. It's like a fat. You only need a little bit to go a long way. So be careful with your liquid calories and adding too much honey. Next, I have we have oatmeal. Oatmeal is another great source of carbohydrate. If you can't tell now, we're pretty much doing plant-based in this video. But I encourage you to look at your meat packet to see exactly, read that label to see exactly how many calories you're getting, because it'll actually be very much like oatmeal in a serving size. So we go to the nutrition facts here. Right underneath it, it tells me serving size is half a cup, and you get 30 servings per container. Come on down a little bit. How many calories per serving? 150 calories in half a cup of oatmeal. This is why oatmeal is such a great breakfast product, because it gives you a lot of calories to start your day. Remember, break fast. If you were to add some honey to it, now you're at what, 210 calories. Plus, get yourself some fruit inside of that oatmeal. Next thing you know, you're at a beautiful, perfect 400 calorie meal. We'll keep coming down here. There are some calories from fat in oatmeal, 25 per serving. So the fat makes up a little over a quarter of the calorie content. That's 2.56. You need fat too, guys. Don't worry about trying to keep a low-fat diet, because your body needs fat to digest certain minerals and vitamins. There are only fat-soluble minerals and vitamins. So the second most important thing you need in your diet is fat content, because if you don't have any fats, then you're just going to pee out all those good vitamins and minerals that you're trying to eat when you're eating your vegetables. You do need fat. Come on down. No cholesterol, no sodium, because this is very pure carbohydrate as well. But you do get some protein because it's a grain product. 8 grams of carbohydrates. That makes up for 9% of your daily carbohydrates if you have one serving size of this oatmeal. That's great. That's beautiful. 4 grams of dietary fiber. We like dietary fiber because that lets you poop. And poop means you have a flat tummy. Insoluble fiber, that means that's how much fiber you're actually going to get out. So dietary fiber is what you need. Insoluble fiber is pretty much the waste that's going to come out. So 2 grams of eating this is going to help push whatever you got in your intestine out. No sugars until you add them, and 5 grams of protein. If you look down, it is a good source of iron because it has 5 grams of protein. There's 10% of iron in your daily value there. But yeah, so that's how you read these labels. I have one more for you all out there. We have pretty much gone over things that are good to have in your diet. Now let's read a snack. You would never find this at my house. That's why I had to come to hers. There's no candy there. What? There's no candy. But no, let's look at a Reese's. A Reese's cup. What do you get? So, nutrition facts. Boom. Serving size, 2 pieces. You have 2 whole Reese's cups. How many calories do you get per Reese's cup? 160 calories. Hey, Lish, that makes sense. Yeah, 160 calories. I'm on my way to a 400 calorie meal. Well, let's just look at the rest of the Reese's cup, shall we? There is some cholesterol that you would get from this. You as a human already produce cholesterol. Not as a human, but as an animal, technically. You already produce cholesterol. There's no need to have extra cholesterol in your diet. Sodium is 110 milligrams. Well, there's peanuts in there, so we get that. We have total carbohydrates, 18 grams. Now, the thing is here, if you look at the carbohydrates, the dietary fiber is 1 gram, and the sugars is 16 grams. So the difference between fiber and sugars are like immediate energy. You know, when you eat a lot of sugar and you get a rush, that's what that is. Dietary fibers are sugars that break down and help cleanse you. They are actually the ones used to dissolve the minerals and vitamins in it. Sugars, that's energy. So you get 16 grams of sugar, but only 1 gram of dietary fiber. And then you get 3 grams of protein, but that's because of the peanuts. So just this alone, where you're not getting as much fiber in this as you would in your oatmeal or in your bread, this being 160 calories, you can fit this in at the end of your day, but it's not good nutrition. Not good nutrition to have this. So what I'm saying is, if at the end of the day you have calculated and you're just below that 1,700 calories, you can have 2 Reese's cups. Or if it's the end of the day and most of your food has been healthy and clean and you're trying to, like me, get up to that 2,500, you can have 2 Reese's cups. So read your labels and write down how many calories you're consuming in order to have a whole, complete, and balanced diet where you're not saying no to anything. Well, that has been my little label and tutorial. Give me a like down below if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to learn more about nutrition facts. Also, subscribe to LegitFit One and check out my website, legitfit1.com, where I keep a blog, I keep more information about nutrition, and we can do some great workouts. Purchase my gym newbie guide as well if you are interested in finding a gym home that will teach you where to go. There's so many different types of gyms out there. That's on sale now also at LegitFit One. All right, let's out.
Yeah, girl.
Thank you.